He's brought to you by the Bob Bell Automotive Group.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Replay Sun High School Sports Show. Don't adjust your TV sets. There's nothing wrong with the color. We got new shirts.
Feel like a new man.
All right.
Feel like a new man.
I'm Sam Davis, sports editor for the Sun. With me, Keith Mills, ABC 2 anchor, sports anchor. Keith, welcome
Sam,
to Replay.
great to be here.
You look good, man.
So do you. One milestone and another near milestone for some coaches. Plenty of highlights for you this weekend, including the week's big showdown, Gilman versus Loyola. Plus, we'll meet this week's Athletes of the Week, and we'll meet a very scholarly athlete. But first, this week's Toyota highlights.
Yeah, we start in Anne Arundel County Friday. Top-ranked Old Mill traveled to number 4 Broadneck for its toughest test of the season. The Patriots are ranked number 1, but Broadneck has had Old Mill's number over the years, coming in with wins in the last 4 games and 7 of the last 8 meetings between these two teams.
Yeah, this game played at Broadneck down in Cape St. Clair on a rainy, cool night. Old Mill ranked number 1 in the Sun poll. Jeff Herrick, his Bruins have won 98 games in his 14 years at Broadneck. He played football for Phil Albert at Towson State. And how's this for a start? Opening kickoff. Broadneck in the dark, number 21, Sean Jones, and he is gone. 95 yards, 7-0 Bruins, Sam, just like that.
Yeah, and if you're Broadneck, you got to feel good about that because Broadneck shut out Old Mill last year, and like I said earlier, had won 6 of the last 7 games, and they get off to an excellent start.
Big story last night also, Broadneck's defense, Old Mill turnovers. Darnell Dixon hit by Broadneck's Tyrone Johnson. Nick Souls recovers, sets up a field goal. Broadneck up 10-0. Nick's dad, Joel, right there, a Broadneck assistant, former outstanding football player in Andover. Next, Old Mill possession. Number 9, John Brown, picked off by Andrew Holland.
Yeah, tough night for the Old Mill offense. 7 Old Mill turnovers, 5 in the first half, including 6 interceptions for the game.
Big game for number 45, Brandon Johnson, 120 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, and Broadneck wins big, 30-17. 5th straight win over Old Mill.
Yeah, number 1 goes down. Broadneck improves to 7-0. I'm sorry, Broadneck improves to 7-0. Old Mill now 6-1. And a quick look at the football top 5. A tough week, as we said, for the top 5 is number 1 Old Mill loses, and number 2 Gilman also fell. And look for number 3 Eastern Tech to make a case to the area's number 1 ranking. The Mavericks are in real big Saturday over Towson 78-12, and number 4 Broadneck, they can make a case for that top spot because they beat the number 1 team. We got some more football highlights later in the show, so stick around for that. All right, in boys soccer, 3rd-ranked River Hill traveled to Ellicott City to play 9th-ranked Mount Hebron. It was Howard County. It was a Howard County showdown that featured some of the outstanding individual play and some interesting strategy.
Barnett comes inside. There, one guy standing here follows here. Frank overlaps. Then the herd needs to take a couple steps out, then attack once it's kicked.
And as soon as I get it, I'm either playing it down the line or I'm playing it to David Adams, who's the attacking midfielder. Those are the only 2 options that you have.
Bill Stara's River Hill Hawks 8-1 coming in ranked 3rd. Mike Linsenmeyer's Vikings of Mount Hebron 10-1 coming in and ready for this one. Mount Hebron in white. First half streaking down the left sideline. Tim Hahn to Jimmy Zeeble. Zeeble heads it to Josh Bostic. Hits the crossbar.
Yeah, the strategy for first half for Hebron put a lot of pressure on the goalie Matt Moss, but they still couldn't score.
River Hill controlled the second half. Number 9, Jeremy Smith, you'll hear his name later, turns Chris DeMay with a big save.
Yeah, Chris DeMay comes up real big. 11 saves to keep Hebron in this game.
So after regulation, it's still scoreless. We go to a 10-minute overtime. It is white knuckle time for the fans and some controversy. Jeremy Smith, now we pick it up after he fell on the ball. He crosses it to number 18, Malcolm Joseph IV, who boots in the game winner. We'll see it again.
Yeah, like you said, a little controversy. Hebron and its fans argue Jeremy Smith touched it with his hands, which would have ended the play, but instead Malcolm Joseph wins the game with this kick right here.
Great call, Sam. That little crossover. River Hill wins 1-0. The game ends with the referees talking to the coaches. The game stands 1-0 River Hill. At Archbishop Curley in East Baltimore, a big A-conference showdown on Sinclair Lane on a blustery, chilly day. Steve Nichols, familiar face at McDonough, his Eagles, A-conference runners-up last year, ranked number 5 this year. Barry Stitz, former Blast player, in his 3rd year at Curley. The Friars unbeaten and ranked number 2. Curley in white. Sam scored 1 minute into the game.
Yeah.
Phil Novak to Sean Houseconneck. Great touch to number 17, Joseph Toto. We will see this again on replay.
Yeah, and Houseconneck scored a goal in Curley's overtime win over McDonough last month.
See it again. Great touch there with the right foot.
Nice
Toto
move.
comes in. It's 1-0 Curley at this point. Outstanding play. McDonough with some chances throughout this game. You know that Steve Nichols' team is going to put some pressure on, and they do. Good chance here. But Stephen King, the Curley goalie, makes one of his 6 saves easily. It was 1-0 Curley at the half. And again, the fans settle in for a good one over on Sinclair Lane. Second half, Curley with a great chance. Sean Houseconneck has his first shot knocked back to him by Alex Horwath, and then he leaves it back for the trailer, and watch the save by Alex Horwath.
Yeah, great job by Alex Horwath in this game. Beautiful job. Alex Horwath, the 3-year starter, 6 saves.
And I coached his father in amateur baseball in Brooklyn Park. About 27 years
Brooklyn
ago.
Park.
10 minutes left. McDonough ties it. Wade McHugh and Drew Singleton follows it in on the rebound, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, so like the first meeting, the game goes into overtime. Second straight overtime game for McDonough.
In overtime, 5 minutes in. Watch number 10, Matt Beal, and watch this missile off his left foot. Man, what a laser. And Archbishop Curley wins 2-1 to stay unbeaten.
Yeah, and Curley now 16-0-2, McDonough 9-4-1, and we're going to take a quick look at the top 5 of the boys soccer top 15. A tough week for number 5 McDonough. The Eagles had to take on 2 teams ranked in the top 5 and lost both games. Number 4 Loyola, and you just saw the number 2 Curley. The rest of the top 5 all fared well, going to combine 9-0. And we're going to move on to the girls soccer top 5. It's a tough week if you were one of the top 5 girls soccer teams, as they go a combined 5-6. Only number 5 River Hill made it through the week without a loss, win in both its games. Number 4 IND had the toughest week, dropping all 3 of its games. All right, Severna Park has dominated Anne Arundel County field hockey under Coach Lil Shelton. The last 29 seasons, winning 24 county titles. The thorn in the Falcons' side has been South River, the team that broke the Falcons' 114 and 47 game win streaks. Thursday at South River, the Seahawks hosted the Falcons in the county title game.
Yeah, Sam, this game played at a packed house, South River High in Edgewater, as Lil Shelton went after career win number 400. She started the first field hockey team in Anne Arundel County in 1975. South River under Coach Laura Hoffner, as Sam said, building their own tradition. First half, South River in white, down 1-0 off the restart. Severna Park goalie Dee Covo knocks out the first shot, but Liz Angevine ties the game just like that.
Yeah, outstanding job by Angevine there. Also, Seahawks goalie Irene Jordan had a great game with 13 saves.
Falcons come right back, streak down the left side. Kelly West to Abby Horn, to number 31, Sam Price. It's 2-1 Falcons.
Yeah, Abby Horn had 2 assists in the game. First assist to Kelly West, and then later on to Sam Price.
Final second, still 2-1. South River's final shot, stopped by Dee Kova. Her 8th and final save, and let the celebration begin. Severna Park wins 2-1, 9th straight Anne Arundel County Championship. You see Liz Shelton with Laura Hoffner right there.
Yeah, Lil Shelton, 400th career win for her, 25 county titles in 26 years for Lil Shelton. 1985, the only year the Falcons did not win a county
They haven't played
title.
Archbishop Spalding. We'll hear from. We'll get to that later.
All right,
Katie
moving on
Monaghan will be with us later.
We're looking at the field hockey top 5. You see top-ranked Falson, they go 3-0 in their first week in the number 1 spot. And number 2 Spalding goes 2-0-1. Number 4 Hereford goes 2-0-1, and they won the Baltimore County title, beating Delaney 3-0. Number 3 Severna Park goes 2-0, and number 5 South River goes 1-1 with that loss to Severna Park, as you saw in the county title game. And the girls volleyball poll.
Tuesday at Owings Mills. I'll pick this one up,
Okay.
Sam. Volleyball coach Lisa Meyer took on her 5th-ranked Eagles, and it was a non-league match, but the Eagles were looking for their 9th straight win since opening the season with a loss to Towson, a team they really hope to play in the county championship. Nancy Bauer is the coach now at Catonsville. Part of that outstanding Catonsville tradition, the Comets have won 7 state championships, including 1986 and 87 and 1981, when Lisa Meyer, as Sam said, was a member of that team. Her Owings Mills team now in the dark. Nicole Puller the save. Puller will save it again here. Sets up Stacy Wasserman, who sets up Lindsay Wenderoff.
Yeah, Stacy Wasserman, excellent game, 35 assists. Lindsay Wenderoff had 6 kills.
Owings Mills won the first set. Catonsville battled for the second. Again, Puller with the serve. Katie Keller keeps the ball in play, and the Comets win the point when the set or when the smash goes wide. But in the end, the Eagles just too tough. Again, Nicole Puller, number 5, with the serve. Wasserman at the net, known more for her setup, dunks this one, and Owings Mills wins impressively.
Yeah, and Nicole Puller 12 for 12 on serves with 13 kills. Owings Mills has won 9 straight games now, 9-1. Haven't lost since, like I said, that season opening loss to Towson. Quick look at the volleyball top 5. No problems for any of the top 5 volleyball teams as they go a combined 11-0, and none of the top 5 suffered a loss in any game. All right, still much more to come on Replay Sun High School Sports Show. Coming up, I've got Athletes of the Week. They'll be here in the studio with us.
And we'll introduce you to a student at Archbishop Carroll who is an A, head of the class, on and off the field. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your Toyota dealer, where 17 different models mean more choice and better value. Get the
Athlete of the Week is Kate Monaghan of Archbishop Spalding. Last week, the junior center scored the game-winning goal on a penalty stroke for a 2-0 win over Roland Park. Our male Athlete of the Week is TJ Swanson of South Carroll. The senior quarterback passed for 4 touchdowns and ran for 2 more as the Cavaliers defeated rival Middletown. Congratulations, Kate, and congratulations, TJ, and welcome to Replay.
Thank you.
Kate, let's start with you, and let's talk about these two big, the big victory over Roland Park, and you also tied 7 2 key teams that you're involved with in the MIAA conference. Tell us about those victories and what they mean to the Spalding team.
They were a huge win for us because last year we only made it to the quarterfinals and the playoffs, and this year we really want to go all the way. We really want to have the best possibility of being the championship. And every year we played 7. It feels like we've tied them, especially last year we tied them. And we haven't even beat Roland Park in about 6 years, and last year we lost them in the quarterfinals. So that week meant so much to us, so much for us to win.
Right. Tell us about the makeup of the team this year. I know you lost 5 seniors. 5 seniors returned. 3 of them were starters. Tell us about how this team has come together.
It's come together with everyone's hard work and determination, especially with our seniors' leadership. They never let down. They play their hearts every game like it's their last, and that just makes us feed off that, and that makes us the team that we play to be. Okay.
Now, you and 3 other players were members of the B Conference Championship lacrosse team last spring. Is there any carryover effect for the field hockey team, having the 4 of you there who sort of won a championship and show the others the way?
I think so. I think that just our leadership and our positive attitude, and that we never let down. Like, even if we're behind or we think we're going to beat a really hard team, we have to know that every game means that we have to be able to win to be able to get the championship.
Great, Kate. Thank you very much. TJ, on to you, and let's talk about South Carroll football, particularly this big win over Middletown. 6 touchdowns you're involved in. You guys were coming off an emotional win over Francis Scott Key, a previously unbeaten team, but you didn't let down against the Middletown team. Tell us about the game.
Well, we knew there were going to be big guys coming in, and our line did a great job holding them up, and we could set back, throw the ball downfield, and when it opened up, we could run the ball, definitely.
You had an excellent game plan against this team. Like I said, 6 touchdowns. You ran when you needed to. You passed when you needed to. What was the game plan against them? How did it come out so well?
Well, the game plan was to try and get over top of them, passing the ball, but the way they played it, we could throw underneath, and a lot of outside runs were open.
Okay. Now, South Carroll, you guys are off to a 6-1 start, but you were 8-2 last year. You didn't make the state playoffs. They've expanded them this year. South Carroll going to make it?
I hope so. We're definitely making progress, and we're doing a great job. We got 2 big games coming up, and hopefully we do good and get in the playoffs.
Okay. Now, you lost quite a few players from that 8-2 team, but you said the line has been key for you guys this season. Tell us real quickly about that line and how it's working out so well.
Well, they're all new guys to the varsity atmosphere, and they're just doing a great job. They've had big games against Linganore and Key and Middletown, both all big guys. And they just holding them up, let me get back there, plenty of time, and opening big holes for the running backs.
Okay, great. TJ, thank you for being on the show. We look forward, and hopefully you guys will make the playoffs this year. I think 8-2, it's a crime you didn't make it last year. Hopefully you can get there this year. Kate, good luck to you guys in the MIAA tournament.
Thank you very much.
All right, great. Thanks for being on the show. Now it's time for this week's on-the-spot question. There have been a lot of surprises during the 2003 football season. Old Mill ranked number 1, Hereford losing 2 straight games, Gilman being shut out. Sun reporter Lem Satterfield tells us which he considers the biggest surprises of the 2003 football season.
I would have to say the surprise teams are number 3 Eastern Tech and number 10 Glenelg. Eastern Tech has won its first 6 games, 5 of them by shutouts, and 8 of its last 12 during a regular season winning streak by shutout. That winning streak dates back to Game 4 of last fall when they lost to Hereford. The Mavericks of first-year coach Mark Maceros, they have allowed 12 points, and their starting quarterback, Josh Hager, has not lost in 23 starts. Glen Elg, on the other hand, they debuted at number 10 after a devastating graduation, but they're led by Tim Siders, and they've won their first 6 games in Howard County and their last 29 straight in Howard County, and look to be in the running for the second straight Howard County title. I would say those two are the surprise teams.
Quentin Burley, number 19, is a senior Lock Raven. Burley had a state record-setting performance October 3rd, scoring 8 touchdowns. Congratulations to Quentin Burley on his record-setting day.
Boy, hats off to him, and hats off to another young guy. Savvy's a word you hear a lot about in sports. One of Archbishop Curley's top football players displays a lot of savvy on and off the field. Replay reporter Erica Wortham has the story as we head into the zone.
Service, scholarship, leadership, character, plus a 3.5 GPA. Requirements for induction into the National Honor Society. To say Glenn Williams meets the criteria on and off the field is an understatement.
Glenn's a great kid, one of the finest that I've taught, and I've been teaching for many years. He is always pleasant, always polite, always strives to do his best.
Glenn is a junior at Archbishop Curley High School. In his 3 years as a running back and defensive back, he has never fallen below a 3.9 GPA. School administrators say he is a model student, kind person, and talented athlete.
I think Glenn has a lot of natural ability. It shows up in the classroom and then on the athletic field. However, I think that Glenn has achieved a higher level beyond that natural ability because of his desire, because of his effort that he puts both in the classroom and on the athletic field, that he's not satisfied with just being good, that he keeps pushing himself to make himself better.
In addition to being a great student, he is currently the second leading scorer in the metro area. He is also in the top 10 for rushing and averages 10 yards a carry. Although Glenn may describe himself as being reserved, he is tough. He starts on both sides of the ball, and you might be surprised which side he prefers.
Well, I like defense better than offense. Offense, you get to run, pass people, score touchdowns, but I like hitting people better.
He started playing football at the age of 7 in the Lock Raven Rec League. Curley coaches discovered a developing talent and strong will in Glenn.
I've been working with Glenn now for 2 years. We moved him up midway through his sophomore year onto the varsity football team. And Glenn is a great kid. He's got all the qualities you look for in a young man. He's not only a very good football player, but he's an excellent student in the classroom.
Glenn is no stranger to hard work. It's been instilled in him from the beginning.
I like to pat on myself. With my father, he has determination. Like, he used to play football when he was in high school. He was a good player. I like to do things like him. He was persistent, like, in his work. He know that, like, hard work is good on the football field, and like, schoolwork is a big part of everything too. So I try to be like him in everything I do.
His parental involvement doesn't stop there. His father was also a standout football player and is a major part of his conditioning program.
My father, he helps me lift, because when you burn out lifting, I think I can't do anymore. He keeps telling me, keep going, keep going. Helps me get real strong.
And if that's not enough, Glenn also runs indoor and outdoor track. He says it keeps him in shape for football, but his talents extend far beyond the football field. Glenn is vice president of the junior class, a merit scholar, and an usher in his church. He is considered a role model to everyone who knows him. Ask any of his fellow classmates about him, everyone agrees.
He's a real nice guy, on and off the field.
On and off, he tries to be nice to everyone. He's a great guy.
Glenn is kind of a leader by example. Glenn is not the type of kid that needs to be the center of the crowd.
Although Glenn is a junior, he is being heavily recruited by major institutions for football and academics.
I'm getting letters from Princeton, Syracuse, Penn State, and places like that, D1 colleges.
Glenn is excited about the prospect of college. His first choice, Princeton. He plans to major in engineering and architecture. Glenn is confident that no matter where he decides to attend college, he will be a success. Work ethic instilled in him since childhood will continue to push him to be the best. Erica Wortham, Replay Sun, High School Sports.
And thank you, Erica. Big high school football game earlier this week. Game played at Lake Clifton, and your buddy Dante Carter.
Dante Carter, Carver High grad, giving back to the community, coaching at his W.E.B. DuBose.
Yeah, James Monroe, the veteran coach at Lake, on homecoming Thursday. His Lakers scored first. Ronald Scott with a touchdown.
Yeah, Ronald Scott, that captain, 80-yard drive. Jacob Hartley adds a 2-point conversion for Lakers.
DuBose comes back. Marcus Parham to Walter Ingram, 29 yards. Start of a big day for Parham on offense and defense. DuBose leads 10-8. Second quarter, Sam, DuBose again. This time Parham hits number 83, Marcus Catlett, for a 21-yarder.
Parham doing it both ways on offense and defense. He set up that touchdown with a 55-yard interception return, 16-8 DuBose.
But Lake comes back and wins 2016. When we come back, Gilman Loyola. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
A new car, a new home, or even a new beginning. At Baltimore County Savings Bank, we can help you make it happen. With today's low interest rates, now is the time to come home to Baltimore County Savings Bank. Whether it's a car, boat, home improvement, or home equity line of credit, Baltimore County Savings Bank makes the application and settlement for your loan quick and easy. Call us or visit baltcosavings.com for today's low rates. Baltimore County Savings Bank, FDIC insured, equal.
Gilman played Loyola, Big A Conference football showdown. Brian Abbott's Don snapped the scoreless tie in the second quarter. Don's in blue. Brady Smith, 65 yards to number 25, Van Hook.
Good day for Brady Smith. Not good numbers, but very balanced. 34 yards rushing, 98 yards passing, and a huge defensive play later in the game.
Yeah, here it is. Biff Poggi's club still down 7-0. Brady Smith, nice catch of the snap. His pass picked off by Sam Price. He returns it all the way to the Loyola 3. Who tackles him? Brady Smith saves a touchdown, and it would preserve the shutout. Big play because 2 plays later, Andrew Wharton's pass picked off by Tim Kaiser. Loyola, Sam, beats Gilman 14-0.
Yeah, Gilman now 3-3. First time Gilman's been shut out in 4 years. Stop the presses. Loyola now 4-3.
Yeah, big week of high school sports, big week of high school football, and hats off to Lil Shelton, 400th win, and
That's
Jeff Herrick, win number 99. What a weekend.
Yeah, all right, that's it for this week's edition of Replay Sun High School Sports. Thanks for joining us. For my partner, Keith Mills, I'm Sam Davis. Have a great week of sports.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week's Maryland Horse Breeders Thoroughbred Weekly, our weekly look inside the Maryland racing industry. Coming up today, we'll look ahead to the 2003 Breeders' Cup, set for October 25th at Santa Anita. We'll be joined by local writer John Eisenberg, the former sports columnist for the Baltimore Sun, who has written a fascinating book called Native Dancer, The Gray Ghost. And, of course, Rick White will take us out to the farm for today's Mid-Atlantic Credit Farm Feature. That farm feature today takes us to Shamrock Farm in Carroll County, a farm owned by the Rooney family. Dan Rooney, of course, owns the Pittsburgh Steelers. His nephews run the farm in Woodbine. And in just a few minutes, Rick White and photographer Cliff Jurgen will go inside the picturesque Shamrock Gates, the latest in our Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit Series. But as advertised, it is our pleasure to welcome a close observer of Maryland racing the last, 15 years or so, former columnist for the Baltimore Sun, now back on staff at the Sun, John Eisenberg. Also, a noted author on a variety of subjects, the Orioles, the Dallas Cowboys, and this book, Native Dancer, The Gray Ghost, a fascinating look at one of the great racehorses and maybe the premier sire in all of horse racing history. And, John, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
And the book came out a couple of months ago, but boy, what a great subject, and it looks like your labor of love was well worth it.
Yes, well, he's a local horse. I mean,
Yes.
There's no doubt he's buried at Sagamore Farm, and his gravestone is out there. It's a little piece of history out there. You gotta dig around a little bit to find it. He's just out there buried on a hill.
Is that right?
Yeah, along with some of the other great Alfred Vanderbilt horses. He owned the farm, and so it's a local story, and that's what enticed me to it in the first place. There's so much legend and lore about this horse, and a lot of it is local.
Why did you decide to write the book?
Well, I love the story, first of all. 21. What I love is that this is a horse who won 21 out of 22 races and is remembered for the one that he lost, which was the 1953 Kentucky Derby. So there was a lot of sort of gray area in there. It's a lot of room to explore when you have a horse that great that's remembered for losing a race. Yeah. It's like, well, what happened in that race? And if not for that loss, he's probably the greatest horse of all time.
That's saying a lot.
22 for 22, I don't know, it's pretty hard to argue with. And certainly people would argue with me, but it was a good argument story, and it was the early 50s and the beginning of television, and he was such a celebrity that I think he'd kind of gotten lost in history, and there was just a lot of room to really tell what I thought was just a great story. Coming
off the heels, of course, of Seabiscuit War Admiral and the movie and all that fascinating story, this probably touched a nerve for the local racing fans. And you mentioned Sagamore Farm, a historic farm in Baltimore County. Talk about that connection. That Native Dancer actually lived on that farm right up the street from us.
Native Dancer was a Kentucky bred, lived about 3 weeks in Kentucky, and raced out of New York because that's where Alfred Vanderbilt raced. But for 14 of his 17 years was at Sagamore Farm. He was broken there, he was trained to race there, and he stood there as a stallion. As soon as within days of the end of his racing career in 1954, they vanned him to Sagamore. He was there until he died, 1954 to 1967, and he turned stone white, like a lot of grays. Right. Sort of in the process of their lives, they go from their full dark, and they ultimately end up white. And
don't miss the newly redesigned International Christmas Shop and Main Christmas Store. Visit Maryland's fall headquarters, Valley View Farms, on York Road in Cockeysville.
Hi, I'm Kelly Swoop, and here's what's going on in our community. Black professional men invite you to their Black Entrepreneurship Weekend, November 14th and 15th. Everyone's invited to attend. You can call 410-377-1023. The Urban Leadership Institute will host Youth Explosion 2003 featuring Judge Greg Mack this Saturday, October 25th. And you're invited to the Soulful Symphony at the Meyerhoff. That's Saturday, October 25th.
If your work-related injury claim was rejected by a lawyer or the Workers' Compensation Commission, call us now.
You're watching Baltimore's most up-to-the-minute news, weather, and sports. ABC 2 News. Good morning, Maryland.
And good morning once again. I'm Kelly Swoop.
And I'm Jamie Costello. Here we are on this Monday, the 20th of October. Weather and traffic in just a moment. But the big stories of today, we expect to hear opening statements in the trial of sniper suspect John Muhammad today. Muhammad is charged with murdering Dean Myers at a gas station in Manassas. We'll take you live to Virginia Beach in just 2 minutes. A college student who reportedly admitted putting box cutters on 2 airplanes will be in federal court right here in our city today. Investigators say Nathaniel Heatwole was apparently trying to test the system. And the U.S. will, quote, take as much money as we can get to cover post-war rebuilding costs in Iraq. Those words coming from Secretary of State Colin Powell, who says last week's UN resolution should help nations considering contributing to the effort. We'll update all those stories and more throughout the next 60 minutes.
But first, let's find out what we're in store for weather-wise this morning. Let's check in with Justin.
Kelly, Jamie, good morning. The clock just turned 6 o'clock, so time to get up on this Monday morning, and we've got some chilly stuff to talk about, especially north and east of Baltimore. Check it out on our Storm Center WeatherNet. Harford County temperatures range from 39 in Bel Air, 37 in Pilesville. Cecil County's northeast is down to 36 degrees, and even Sudlersville 38. So there could be some patchy frost, especially northern sections of the Eastern Shore and interior sections north and east of Baltimore, and also Villa Julie College right now at 35 degrees. The rest of us in the lower 40s. Our forecast for today, a wide range with some patchy inland frost this morning. Otherwise, we're looking for plenty of sunshine, and we are making it back up to 67 degrees later on this afternoon. More on the weather coming up, but right now back to Kelly.
Opening statements are expected today in the trial of sniper suspect John Allen Muhammad. He could get the death penalty if he's convicted for murdering Dean Myers. Let's go now to ABC 2's Keith Garvin, who's covering the case for us live. Keith?
Good morning. Muhammad's alleged accomplice Lee Boyd Malvo is scheduled to make an appearance on this day of opening statements. This first trial in the sniper killings is perhaps the most crucial for prosecutors seeking justice as well as for the defense. Almost a year after authorities arrested John Allen Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo, opening statements will be delivered in a trial that could cost Muhammad his life. Prosecutors will try to convince a jury Muhammad was the mastermind behind a 3-week killing spree. This trial is for the death of Dean Myers, killed by a single shot as he filled his tank at a Manassas, Virginia gas station.
It's not our position to take vengeance or to make judgments. It's our position to allow the process to continue.
After opening statements, the most significant event is Malvo's expected appearance. He likely will not speak, invoking his Fifth Amendment rights. But prosecutors intend to use him as an exhibit for witnesses to identify. Defense lawyers call the appearance a stunt. Muhammad faces 2 capital murder charges. His attorneys say prosecutors have no confession from their client and no witnesses who saw him pull the trigger. The Commonwealth says it only has to prove Muhammad directed the shootings, which had an entire region on edge just this time last year. Prosecutors admit the evidence they have is circumstantial, but say it is by no means weak. Reporting live from Virginia Beach, Keith Garvin, ABC News. Back to you.
Now, Keith, you said they don't have a witness that saw Muhammad pull the trigger. So how do they feel about the strength of their case?
Well, even though they have circumstantial evidence, they feel it is overwhelming because they don't have any witnesses that say they saw Muhammad pull the trigger, but they do have witnesses that place both Muhammad and Malvo at the scene. They also have Muhammad's fingerprints on the weapon that was used in the killings, as well as DNA found at some of the scenes. So they do feel that they have strong evidence in the case.
Okay, Keith Garvin reporting live for us. Thank you very much. Jamie, back to you.
Kelly, Keith, thank you. 6:02. We've got some bumps in the road here this morning. The traffic now with Diana Gibson. Good morning, Diana.
Hi, good morning, Jamie. We certainly do. Going to bring up a map because we've had an accident working for nearly 2 hours. 83 southbound the Harrisburg Expressway by Old York Road. It's closed down for an accident and an accident investigation. Commuters are being forced